Hello, everybody. Whoa. Welcome to 2019 and welcome back to The Slice. It's been a while since we've been here, hasn't it? Wow, lots has been going on. I'm kind of in a new studio setup here. Very blank looking. I thought I'd go for the more minimalist look. Just kidding. It's going to get better. I'm setting up the studio more. I'm in a new place, but I had to talk about what's been going on in the 2019 season so far because lots has been, and it's exciting. So we're going to get right to it. On today's episode, we're going to talk about Roger Federer's performance at the Hopman Cup, how he looked, how the other players at the tournament looked, and the three tournaments that happened in the first week of 2018, or 19, sorry. The main story is Djokovic losing to Bautista Agut. We're going to talk a little bit about that match, what that possibly means, and the other guys who won that in that week, which was Nishikori and Kevin Anderson, the Eagle. So lots of winners, lots of losers, lots of stuff to talk about. Welcome back to The Slice. I'm stoked you're here, and let's get going.
Welcome to The Slice.
Hi guys, welcome to The Slice.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. Thanks for sticking it out. If you're back here and you're like, this is my first time here and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And then you won't miss anything else in 2019 that you shouldn't miss. But I want to know how you are. Let me know how you are in the comment section below. And let me know what you're most excited for, first of all. Just write that down there. What are you most excited for in 2019? Because I'm excited for, I don't know, the Australian Open the most. I think that it's my most favorite tournament of the year. Every year, the Australian Open rolls around, and we've been off of tennis for like a month. Everybody seems to be healthy. Everyone seems to be energized, and things are just magical. Wouldn't you say? Can't you feel it in the air? I can, at least. So what's been happening so far? The Hopman Cup happened. Tournaments in Doha, Qatar. Is that the same thing? I think so. I'm not very educated on that area of the world. Let me know, because some of you probably are. Some of you might even live there. Shout out if you do. There was a tournament in India, and there was a tournament in Brisbane, mate. First up, in the Hopman Cup. Apparently, it's the last year of the Hopman Cup also. There's this new thing called the ATP Cup that's going to be played at the exact same time as the Hopman Cup. Anyways, that's all I think. I'm sad to see it go because I went there in 2013. Picture of me at the Hopman Cup in 2013. Young Steven, young Slice. Before the Slice was even a brainchild. Anyways, at this year's Hopman Cup, Roger Federer played there, obviously, the biggest name there. And he looked perfect in Perth, I'd say. He looked really good. He looked completely rested, moving freely, and just striking the ball like he normally does, where it's so good that you're actually almost disturbed. It's so good, and he looked great. So Federer fans should be very pleased with that. And they're probably going into the Australian Open being like, he's the favorite. The courts are going to be fast. He's coming in hot. He's now the two-time defending champion, and yeah, he's looking good. I don't know what more you could ask for as a Federer fan, or if you're Federer, what more you could ask for. He said his game was feeling great. He thought the level was super high. I watched a match against Tsitsipas, and that was a really great match to watch. Federer showed that even though Tsitsipas was playing like a beast, which he was, I'll get to that in a minute, Federer played at a very high level, didn't make a ton of mistakes, served huge, hit forehand, backhand, everything looked just free flowing and looked good. So that's a positive for the Federer camp out there. I just want to talk about Stefanos Tsitsipas. There's a guy in the NBA called Giannis Antetokounmpo or something like that. They call him the Greek Freak. Stefanos Tsitsipas is the Greek Freak. He's big, like he's huge. I mean, he's got to be a 6'4", 6'5", and he moves just like anyone else. He's sliding around out there like Alex Demonauer. But he just looks really, really good. I think this year he could do some serious damage on the ATP Tour. He already did last year, getting to the final of Masters 1000s, winning other big matches against players, just having crazy runs in the clay. But I think 2019 could be his year to like kind of separate himself from the other young guns who have seemed to have grown a little bit complacent, some of them. So he looked like a beast. Watch out for him. Add him to your list. I would call it the hit list in 2019. A lot of players on that. We'll get to more of them. In Doha, Novak Djokovic obviously had an unbelievable year last year, comeback. One of the craziest things I've seen, other than Federer's comeback. I can't decide which one's crazier. I still think Federer's is because he was much older. But Djokovic's comeback to win Wimbledon and then the U.S. Open and basically every tournament in between. And then at the end of the year, only lose to next geners, which was kind of random. Tell me your thoughts on that. I think it was absolutely incredible. So he's the number one player, or he's not the number one player in the world. Yeah, he is. Wow. Okay, the brain fart. Been away for a while. He's the number one player in the world now, having won the last two majors. So coming into this year, you're expecting, I would say he's definitely the favorite. at the Australian Open. But if the courts are super fast, Federer's right up there with him. We're gonna have to see how the first week goes of the Australian Open, to be honest. But Djokovic is probably the favorite going in. The smart choice, the betting choice, the people's favorite probably. Well, not the people. That means the most popular. I don't think he's the most popular. But anyways, you know what I'm trying to say. So in Doha is a tournament he's done very well at in the past. But he lost in the semifinals to Roberto Bautista Agut. Might have been the quarterfinals. But this match was crazy because Bautista Agut, who's a crazy baseliner, we've always known that he's a very even keel. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and he can get pretty nasty. I remember, I think it was 2015 maybe or 16 that Bautista Agut beat Federer in, I think it was Shanghai in a pretty close match, beat Djokovic in Shanghai, and that was tough for him. And that's what happened again today. Bautista Agut looked like Djokovic out there. He was sliding into forehands and backhands. And anytime that Djokovic would try and come forward, Bautista Agut came up with the goods and was hitting passing shots that it looked like Djokovic used to hit or does hit still against people that frustrate him so much. It was like Djokovic was watching himself beat him. And then he got a match point and just capitalized on the first one. Bada bing, bada boom, Djokovic was out. So obviously a big win for Bautista Agut. What it means for Djokovic is, I would say, absolutely nothing. It's just a loss at the beginning of the year after a little bit of time off. Coming to the Australian Open, that has zero effect on his ability or standing as the favorite, I would say. It's like different. There's always these lead-up tournaments where guys will lose. Djokovic will lose. Federer will lose. Nadal will even lose to guys like, Thiem and the Clay. But then it's when you get to the majors and you have to face the guy across the net who's won all these majors before, and you have to beat them in 3 sets, the chances of you winning just go so far down. They drop hardcore because you got to beat them in 3 sets. So either they got to be really off, like we saw with Federer in the U.S. Open when Johnny Millman beat him. He's got to be really off, or you have to play unbelievable and play the match of your life, which both things are so daunting because the top 3 guys, Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, have been so consistent for like 10 plus years now that you're like, are they really going to have an off day? Like that happens once in a blue moon. And then am I going to be able to play my best tennis for like 5 sets and probably still lose 2 of them and maybe squeak out 3 and win that? It's very daunting. So I don't think Djokovic losing means anything at all for the Australian Open. He looked fine out there. Bautista Agut just played out of his mind. So great for Bautista Agut. Djokovic fans are probably like, no big deal. I'm sure they have a lot of swag in their step going into the Australian Open. At least I would. If I was a Djokovic, huge fan. So in other news, Kei Nishikori won the tournament in Brisbane, beat Grigor Dimitrov along the way. Grigor Dimitrov looked a little bit better. He looked like he had a little bit more like rotation in a lot of his shots. He was a bit more, instead of trying to play exactly like Federer where you're slapping or like kind of smacking it more cleanly, he looked like he had a bit more, I don't know how to say it, just like rotation in his shots. They looked like they had a little bit more margin, a little bit more spin. So that could be a good thing because it seems like for every 2 year, one good year he has, which he had in 2017, Dimitrov won Cincinnati, won the World Tour Finals. I was at Cincinnati. I believe in Grigor Dimitrov. He has like 2 bad years where he just falls off the face of the earth like we saw in 2018. So I'm cheering for Grigor. Kei Nishikori won the tournament, though. Looked great. He had a great end of the last year. So put him on your hit list for 2019 as dangerous players in the Aussie Open. Kevin Anderson, the Eagle, won in Pune, India, wherever that is. Shout out to the people in Pune. Yeah, that's great, too, because he always had a great 2018, went to the World Tour Finals, did damage everywhere, including to Federer fans' hearts when he busted out a come-from-behind 2-set come-from-behind win against Federer in Wimbledon, which Federer fans are still trying to get over. So those are the winners of the week 1. Federer and Bencic won. The Team Switzerland won in the Hopman Cup, 2nd year in a row, I think. And we had Bautista Agut winning the tournament and also beating Djokovic, which was big. We had Kei Nishikori winning and Kevin Anderson winning. So exciting start to the season. It's just so, isn't it great when tennis is back? It's insane. I love it. So what are your biggest, the next tournaments are in Sydney and Auckland, if I remember correctly. Got a lot more tennis. And we're just going to be keeping a mental list, I think, from now on who the dangerous players are going into the Australian Open. If you're looking for mine, the Slice's top 5 players, top 5, and I want you to leave yours in the comments. My top 5 players going into the Australian Open as far as dangerous are Djokovic, number 1. Just had the most successful end to 2018. Number 1 player in the world, and the Australian Open has been his. He's dominated it a lot in his career, and he's looking good. He's looking like old Joker. So Djokovic, number 1. Federer, number 2. Federer has won the tournament the last 2 years. He looked amazing in the Hopman Cup. He looks rested. When Federer's rested, relaxed, and there's fast courts, that spells major number 21. I don't know, but it's the right recipe, at least, for success. So I'd put him as number 2. Now, number 3 through 5 is like pretty subjective. I think I'm going to actually have to put Kevin Anderson up there because he's just shown us that he can be consistently good at the end of 2018. Since Wimbledon, he played really good pretty much the entire time. At the World Tour Finals, he played well. Didn't he beat Nishikori 0-1 at the World Tour Finals? And then he lost to Federer, but that was like disturbingly good. So I think if it's fast courts, Kevin Anderson could do some damage. And I know it's a bold prediction, putting him as the 3rd most dangerous player going into the Australian Open, but this is a very early preview, and I'm just shooting off the top of my head here, basically. So Kevin Anderson, number 3. I would put, honestly, Alexander Zverev up there because we don't know of any injuries with him. He's young, and this could be his time to step up there. I put him somewhere around number 4. And in number 5, I'm not disrespecting Nadal. We just don't know if he's going to even, where his body's at coming into the Australian Open. We're going to have to get more info in here in the next week. And my official Australian Open preview, I'll obviously will have a lot more information for you on that. But Nadal, I would say, is number 5 because he's, 2nd most winning Grand Slams of all time. Most people would say he's the 2nd greatest tennis player of all time. And when he's in the draw, if he's in the draw, you have to put him up there. So, he made it to the final in 2017. Which Nadal fans don't like to be reminded of. I know. So that's my top 5. Djokovic, Federer, Anderson, I know that's bold, Zverev, and Nadal. What are yours? Critique mine. I'm just happy to be back here hanging out with the Slice family. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, do that and stay tuned. We have the Australian Open preview coming out this weekend. We also have a couple other videos here just breaking down different players' 2019 seasons and maybe recapping their 2018 seasons. So it's good to be back. Lots is rolling here. The ATP is up, well, and alive, and 2019 is just getting started. Thanks for watching, folks. If you like clicking buttons, click the subscribe button. And if you haven't, check out theslicetennis.com. We post articles there. You can poke around, see some of the old ones, and we will be posting new ones here in the next little while. So thanks for checking in, and I'm excited to start the 2019 season with you guys.